Welcome into episode number 175 of The Voice Behind the Voice. I'm Sean Aronson, the TV and radio broadcaster for the St. Paul Saints, an independent minor league baseball team in the Twin Cities. Well, I guess holiday season has officially begun, right? Halloween rolls into Thanksgiving, that rolls into Christmas. When I bought a house now going on, this was my third Halloween, I was super excited because I had never had a house. I had never had an area where I could hand out candy for Halloween. Mind you, Halloween is my least favorite of all holidays. I don't dress up. I don't like it. I don't like anything to have to do with it. But I do enjoy handing out candy to the kids that come because I know how excited that they are. But 3 years ago, during my first Halloween, I got, 10, 15 kids. Last year, about the same. And each year, I'm hoping, it's going to get better and more kids are going to show up. Same this year, and I always overbuy the candy, always overbuy it. And I got smart. I think last year I bought 3 or 4 bags of candy. This year I was down to 2 bags of candy and still had plenty of left over. I think next year maybe I'm going to be the cool person that buys like the big candy bars and buy like 15 or 20 of those and call it a day because I just don't get any more than that. Funny thing happened though. I had a kid come up to my door, said trick or treat, and as I went to hand him the candy, he kind of looked over my shoulder and he said, "Are you alone?" And I thought, what a weird question for a kid to ask. I told this to one of my friends, and I had told my friend, I was like, his mom was down at the bottom of the driveway, and my friend said, maybe he was asking because his mom was single and was, trying to hook her up. I don't know if that was the case or not. I just thought it was funny that some kid just asked me, "Are you alone?" And to which I thought, yes, kid, story of my life. But with that, I was not alone this week with a great guest. It's episode number 175 with Mike Inglis of the Miami Heat. He and I sat down at the team hotel, kind of in a little lounge area, and fascinating guy. Also had one of his championship rings, so I asked him about the etiquette of wearing the championship ring, which I'm really getting into a lot more that I sit down with these broadcasters that have won championships because it'll be in the next few months where we finally get our championship ring. So I want to know really what the etiquette of wearing it is because I have a feeling early on I'm just going to overwear that thing wherever I go, like, parties or the gas station or a restaurant. But I'm just going to wear the ring. That's all. It probably is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to overwear it. But we talk a little bit about that. We talk about him being born in Scotland and then his family moving to Canada and the length of time that he spent in Canada. He also talks about calling the Michael Johnson, Donovan Bailey match race, I think is what they called it. It was a 150-meter race. And for those of you too young to remember it, look it up. But those two were two of the fastest men alive at the time. And Donovan Bailey was the fastest man at 100 meters. Michael Johnson was the world record holder in the 200 and 400 meters. And they held a 150-meter match race in Canada. And he was one of the guys that called it in Canada. So a lot of great stories here by Mike. If you've not subscribed to the podcast, you can do so wherever you get your podcasts. Rate us and then follow us on social media, Twitter at The Voice BTV, Facebook, facebook.com/TheVoiceBTV. You can always email me, thevoicebtv@gmail.com. All right, let's get to it. Episode number 175 with Mike Inglis of the Miami Heat. JW, are you alone? Roll the open.
Funny thing is, I lived in Newmarket at the time, and my next door neighbor was, of all people, Ben Johnson, who we got to know very, very well. And and my wife, God bless her, is not big into sports, believe it or not. Her family still can't believe she married a guy who's into sports like I am. And he was doing some stuff outside. And this is before we knew he was our neighbor. And I saw him outside, and I got on the phone, and I said, "Mary Ellen, do you know who our next door neighbor is?" And she goes, "No, it's Ben Johnson." She goes, "Yeah?" I said, "No, Ben Johnson, like the fastest man on the planet."